There's a naturally occurring compound that researchers are starting to call the longevity vitamin, even though this compound was first isolated over 100 years ago. It's not produced in any plant or animal, and most of us have never even heard of it. So, what is it? It's called ergothioneine. Now, the jury's still out on whether or not it's actually a vitamin, but there's little doubt about its ability to improve your health and possibly even extend your lifespan. So, what exactly is ergothioneine? Well, it's a naturally occurring amino acid that contains sulfur, and it's derived from histidine, an essential amino acid that's used in the biosynthesis of proteins. It's easily absorbed by the body, it's retained for long periods of time, and it seems to improve our antioxidant and anti-inflammatory defenses. Higher plasma levels of ergothioneine are associated with a decreased risk of mortality, and it appears that it might increase lifespans. Ergothioneine was discovered over a century ago, and its name came from ergot, a fungi that can grow on the seeds of various grasses, such as rye. And it was pretty much ignored until recently when scientists discovered that most animals, including humans, have developed a highly specific transporter protein that seems to have been designed to extract ergothioneine from foods and actively move it into tissue cells. This transporter is called OCTN1, and it gets upregulated right before mealtimes. Also, the body tends to absorb ergothioneine very efficiently and hold on to it for long periods of time. Now, this suggests that ergothioneine has an important role to play in human metabolism. It turns out that ergothioneine is a cytoprotectant, a cell protector, and it's an antioxidant. Ergothioneine collects in tissues that have high concentrations of free radicals, such as your eyes or your liver, as well as in sensitive tissues like bone marrow and semen. Researchers have discovered that when human cells are deprived of ergothioneine, it can lead to accelerated DNA damage and cell death. Now, the human body cannot manufacture ergothioneine. We can only get it from foods. This led UC Berkeley microbiologist Bruce Ames to call ergothioneine a longevity vitamin. And researchers at Johns Hopkins University have concluded that this amino acid may represent a new vitamin. Now, vitamins are traditionally characterized by the onset of specific diseases caused by a dietary deficiency, usually within a short time frame. And although no specific disease or medical condition has been observed with ergothioneine-restricted diets in animals, low ergothioneine diets do appear to lead to higher levels of oxidative stress and inflammation, and thus susceptibility to a variety of degenerative conditions. Low levels of ergothioneine in the blood have been correlated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, frailty, cognitive impairment, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. Now, in the test tube, ergothioneine acts as a powerful antioxidant by quenching free radicals like reactive oxygen species, or ROS. Now, a study was done in Sweden back in 2020 that looked at over 100 compounds that were measured in the bloodstreams of thousands of people. And the one that was associated with the lowest risk of mortality and disease was, you guessed it, ergothioneine. Higher levels of ergothioneine in the blood were associated with a lower risk of heart disease, stroke, and death from all-cause mortality. And this was put together over a period of 20 years. Now, in a different study, an animal study in which mice were given a high dose of ergothioneine, the researchers saw increases in lifespans by 21% compared to the control group. The ergothioneine-treated mice also demonstrated less frailty, higher activity levels, and improved cognitive markers like learning and memory. Mice given ergothioneine also had less cellular senescence and less inflammation. Now, in humans, blood levels of ergothioneine tend to decline with age. At this point, it's not clear if this is due to a greater demand of the compound by the body, or poor absorption from foods, or less effective transport by OCTN1. But the age-related decline seems to be consistent across many animals. And these lower levels are also associated with age-related conditions like frailty, cardiovascular disease, macular degeneration, cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative diseases. Whether as a direct or indirect antioxidant, ergothioneine appears to help prevent DNA damage both in the cell's nuclear DNA and the mitochondria's DNA. It's also thought to upregulate a family of enzymes called the sirtuins, in particular SIRT1 and SIRT6, two of the more important enzymes when it comes to things like protection from hyperglycemia, cellular senescence, and cancer. Now, since these genes that express the enzymes are called the longevity genes, they also help with aging. Some researchers also believe that this sirtuin boost could be the result of less NAD+ depletion through oxidative stress. Now, if that's the case, ergothioneine supplementation could be yet another way to boost your NAD+ levels. Because it operates at such a basic biochemical level, ergothioneine is able to help protect just about every tissue in the body. In animal experiments, it was found to support the cardiovascular system, the brain and nervous system, the immune system, the kidneys, and the eyes. It's found in particularly high concentrations in the liver and in the blood. Its presence in the skin has led to its use in topical cosmetic products, where, once again, it seems to lower inflammation and prevent DNA damage. Okay, here's the thing about ergothioneine. The human body can't produce it, but neither can plants. Only fungi, bacteria, and other microorganisms can create ergothioneine. Now, some animal tissues and some plants do contain ergothioneine, but its presence in plants and animals relies on uptake from these sources that can actually produce it. Ergothioneine looks like one of the more promising natural compounds out there. So, if scientists like Bruce Ames or the researchers at Johns Hopkins University are correct and ergothioneine is a new vitamin, it will be the first new vitamin since vitamin B12 was isolated back in 1948. But whether or not it ever gets the label of vitamin, the evidence in its favor seems strong enough for me to include it in my supplement stack.